Just a quick note before we get into this video, this was filmed before we were awarded a second free hit by the Fantasy Premier League. So although the players are still the players I am interested in and the double game weeks are likely to be the same, there is now 2 free hit chips for everyone this season. If you've already used one, I'm assuming you'll just have 1. If you haven't, you'll now have 2. So that is FPL's way of trying to help you through this festive period, and let's get into the video. What is up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today Part 2 of the team selection video for Game Week 19, where we don't just look at Game Week 19 now, but we look further on towards Game Week 21 and 22, which could be double game weeks. But before we do that, quick word from the sponsors of this video, SPITCH. SPITCH is the ultimate fantasy football manager game that's just hit the market, and with their launch in the UK, they have a huge raffle of 50 prizes in total. Now that's a Christmas gift I can get behind. The game is available to those of you in the UK and Ireland for everyone over 18 years of age. For Game Week 19, as you can see, I'm focusing on Wolves and Arsenal in defence with Tierney, Gabriel and Kilman with Sarr in goal. We've got Jota up top because Salah is so expensive in SPITCH. Son and Martinelli join him with a midfield of Silva, Mount, Gallagher and Souček, with the specific competition I'm entering being a free for entry game. So do you want to win an e-scooter, AirPods, Beats, football kits and various gift cards? That sounds something that you want to get involved in. Click on the top link in the description down below, get involved with SPITCH, and let's get back to the video. So guys, top link in the description, get involved with SPITCH, support FPL today. Thank you SPITCH so much for sponsoring this video, and let's start talking double game weeks. Now, the reason this is suddenly a possibility out of nowhere and why it wasn't mentioned in the previous video is because it has now been agreed that the FA Cup fixtures will not have replays. This is for both rounds 3 and 4, and there's also discussion for the Carabao Cup semi-finals, which have historically been 2 tight affairs, to now only be a single fixture, so we can fit some of the postponed fixtures into the calendar for the 2021-22 season. Now this is all speculation, and there is nothing confirmed just yet, but Ben Crillin and Fantasy Football Hub, again if you want to check them out, link is also in the description. They've come up with the possible plan for Game Week 21 and 22. With the midweeks now possibly being free in those game weeks, we have clubs like Tottenham, Man United, Burnley, Brighton Hove Albion, Leicester, Brentford and Watford, all with fixtures to be put in to the calendar, which means it's extremely likely they will have a double game week. There are also more clubs that could possibly have a double game week in 21 or 22, with one fixture having been postponed, and the only clubs that are guaranteed not to have a double game week in these game weeks is Leeds, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle and Wolves. So usually in a normal FPL season, you only get lots of double game weeks and blanks near the tail end of the season, but slap bang in the middle now, it looks like we're going to have a significant period of double game weeks. More information, like I said, is available on Fantasy Football Hub, so do feel free to sign up to them. They've got Ben Crillin on the books, and he is literally the master of the fixtures, double game weeks and blanks for Fantasy Premier League managers. But how does that affect our potential transfers moving towards these possible double game weeks? So we start off with the team that I potentially think have the best run of fixtures and also the best double game weeks, and that is Tottenham Hotspurs. Tottenham Hotspurs have Crystal Palace and Southampton in the next 2 fixtures, and then they have Watford and Arsenal in 21 and 22, with Burnley, Brighton Hove Albion and Leicester being their possible games to put into the fixture calendar for those double game weeks. And there's one player that really stands out to me as far as Spurs are concerned, and that is of course Heung-min Son. Over the last 6 game weeks, and Spurs of course have had some postponements, Heung-min Son has managed 3 goals and 1 assist from lower underlying numbers than the likes of Harry Kane, because he is just that clinical. His XG is at 1.86. He's also had 4 shots on target, 3 of them becoming goals, which is a great return, 4 big chances as well, with also 1 big chance created, most likely leading into that assist. Now, of course, you could also look at the likes of Harry Kane. You could take a punt on Dele Alli. And there is, of course, the Spurs defence you could take a chance on. Ideally, Reguilon would be my favourite option, but I need to look into that a little bit more because Ryan Sessegnon played in the last Spurs game. But Spurs definitely have a good run of fixtures that we could be looking to take advantage of. The next team we're looking at players from is Manchester United, with Newcastle and Burnley in the next 2 fixtures and Wolves and Aston Villa in 21 and 22. They have Brentford and Brighton Hove Albion fixtures to fit into the calendar as well. So I think the likes of Ronaldo could suddenly be someone I really want to get into the side, although that would take a lot of moving around of my finances in my team. There's a possibility I will bring in Son first and then watch Man United trying to figure out if there is another option than Cristiano Ronaldo. But in the last 6 game weeks, Ronaldo has had 14 shots on goal, 7 on target, 12 from inside the box, 5 big chances and scored 3 goals. So we know what Cristiano Ronaldo can do. And when he's got a double game week, you'd like to think that he would get on the score sheet. And then with potentially 4 transfers before double game week 22, the players that I would be looking to get into after Son and Ronaldo would be players from Leicester and Watford. Now, Watford, we've discussed Dennis and King already on this channel, and I'd still probably be leaning towards Dennis because not much has changed since I talked about Dennis and King before. So let's look at Leicester City and a player I'm most interested in from them to go into the double game weeks. Now, the plus point of the Leicester pick is they've got Man City and Liverpool next. I know that doesn't sound like a plus point, but with Game Week 19 and 20 being unfavourable fixtures, then they can be the later transfer than the likes of Son and Ronaldo. They have Norwich in 21 and Burnley in 22, with Tottenham and Everton as the fixtures that need to be put into the calendar. And the player that stands out to me the most, although I am considering the likes of Barnes, Vardy and Tielemans, is James Madison, who has looked on form recently, managing 14 shots on goal in the last 6 game weeks, 7 of which have been on target with 1 big chance, but he's scored 3 goals from an XG of 1.47. He's also got 2 big chances created and 4 assists, so he has been on absolute fire recently and looks like a good player to take into the double game weeks. But what does that actually mean for my current side and what my transfer will be going into next game week? Now, with Ronaldo and Son being expensive players, that does cause an issue for me, with me not having the most in the bank to actually make my moves, with only 0.7 million there. A lot of my budget is, of course, in big at the back with James, Alexander-Arnold and Cancelo. And then, of course, we've got Salah, who could be going off to the African Cup of Nations. We don't know how the double game weeks will necessarily affect that. But it does mean that, to be honest, Salah and Liverpool don't have any games to be put into the fixture calendar at the moment. So Salah might still only miss 2 game weeks. But if I do want to bring in big players, Salah might be a player that I need to transfer out. I wish I'd kept my wildcard for Game Week 19, because then I could literally play my wildcard and make a team that would take advantage of these double game weeks without having to plan transfers in advance. But hindsight is a wonderful thing. But most likely this game week, I'm probably not going to make any transfer and hold 2 transfers for Game Week 20. Possible transfers out to make money for these moves would be the likes of Foden and Mount down to cheaper midfielders, maybe even Jota down to a cheaper midfielder as well, although I'm very happy with Jota's returns. I'm not too keen on taking money out of the back because I do like Cancelo, James and Alexander-Arnold moving forward. And Antonio and Wilson are my expensive strikers up front, and we'll probably have to downgrade them to be even considering bringing in Ronaldo. Gerhard is already a cheap striker, and to be honest, his time is probably going to come to an end at some point, but Gerhard might stay just to facilitate the likes of Ronaldo and Son into the side. Anyway guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell to support the channel. Also check out SPITCH, thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. Companies like SPITCH do really help the channel continue to move forward and grow, so thank you to them. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, have a Merry Christmas.